Once upon a time, there lived a small, young fox. The fox loved to frolic and play in the woods and meadows near his home with his many brothers and sisters. However, one dark and stormy evening, the fox became separated from his siblings as heavy raindrops and flashing lightning overtook his vision, and vicious thunder rang in his ears. Panicked, the fox mistakenly darted further into the woods, rushing and eager to find shelter and warmth. Though spindly branches tugged at his fur and deep puddles of mud caused him to stumble and fall, the fox continued onward fervently, the sound of his paws muffled by the loud static of rain upon leaf. Exhausted and drenched, the fox eventually came upon a gnarled tree stump. He could see at its base there was a split in the wood, and inside was a light. Yes, a small flicker within. What luck! Surely the stump's denizen would understand if he let himself in, what with the storm and all. Having convinced himself, he rushed over to the stump's entrance, and after a good amount of wriggling, slipped his way inside. "Who dares enter my home?" a scraggly voice bellowed. As the fox's eyes adjusted to the light, he could see that the stump was indeed hollow, and at its center a small burning candle, its wax slowly oozing onto the floor. A large, monstrous shadow cast by the flickering flame spread menacingly onto the wall. The fox cowered momentarily until he saw the shadow's owner standing on the other side of the candle. An elderly squirrel, glaring at him and tapping his foot with annoyance. "I'm sorry for intruding, sir," the fox stammered, his fur dripping wet. "I only came in to get out of this terrible storm. Perhaps I could stay here until the rain calms? I promise to leave and return to my siblings the moment it does." The fox watched as the old squirrel's grimace softened. "Siblings, you say?" the elderly rodent inquired. "I had a good many brothers and sisters with whom I would play in these woods. Ah, what glorious days!" A smile graced its way onto the old squirrel's face as he gazed into the candle, a look of tranquility and calmness as he fondly reminisced about days long past. "I am old, and it is just me in this stump now. But I do remember those times so clearly. Come, sit by me and tell me of the games and adventures you shared with your brothers and sisters, that I might share in your delight." Beaming and thankful for the sanctuary, the fox made himself comfortable by the small flame and began to excitedly tell the squirrel all about his and his siblings' escapades. Throughout the night, the squirrel would listen intently, smile, and tell the fox of the games and antics he would get into with his brothers and sisters, and the fox couldn't wait to take these new ideas back home. Hours and hours they talked and laughed, and before long, the two newfound friends could hear the chirping of birds that signaled the end of the heavy storm that had brought them together. With a pleasant goodbye and a heartfelt promise to visit, the fox thanked the squirrel for his time and hospitality, then squeezed his way back out of the stump. He trotted home through the dewy underbrush, leaping over small puddles and dodging under dripping leaves, until finally his home and the faces of his worried family came into view. He ran to embrace them, and they returned in kind, happy to see their brother home safe. Things returned to normal. As time went on, the fox and his brothers and sisters would once again spend their days frolicking and playing in the meadows and woods, this time with new activities to try and new games to play. However, every now and then, the fox would bid a short farewell and return to that gnarled stump deep in the woods to share a candle and a story with an old bushy-tailed friend.